Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a recent store championship finals between Crosshearts and DarkKnightmon X. Fair warning, there will be a few misplays that I will go over later in the video, but this tournament actually took place the first week of BT10, so everyone was still getting used to the new set. The DarkKnightmon player will start off with a Chikurimon and then a Tai Memory Tamer, and then Crosshearts will start off with Starmons in breeding and play a Taiki. And it looks like they're going to take Cross 5 to hand and put the Starmons underneath. And then they're going to play another Taiki, where I believe they will take the Akari to hand. Yep. And the rest will go to the bottom, and then pass turn. DarkKnightmon player will move out and play a Pride Memory Boost. And I believe he gets a Cavalier mode onto the field, passing the turn, and that will bring out the Starmon swinging, drawing for the Pikmons, and it will swing into a Monotamon, so it will save underneath the Taiki. And then he's just going to pass turn with a Ballistamon. And DarkKnightmon player will hatch out Pagumon. And they're going to swing in with the Skull Knight Cavalier, hitting into a Tai Kamiya and Kari. And then play out a Mighty Axe mode, looking at the top three, and going to grab a DarkKnightmon hand, and the rest will go to trash. And Crosshearts player will go for the Cross 4. Oh, actually, it looks like he's going to take that back. And it looks like the Crosshearts player is just going to play a Sunrise Buster to delete the cannot reduce play cost Chikurimon. Playing out a Akari, which will let him play a Darulamon. Not sure which one he reduces, but I don't know if it ends up mattering. And the right player is going to get in with the Cavalier mode, swinging into a Sparrowmon, and then the Mighty Axe mode will hit into the Ballistamon. And now it looks like the right player is going to play the Death Xmon for, I believe, only 2. Great value, and he's going to wipe the board. And then he's just going to pass turn, playing Nene, and with the on play, looks like he's going to get a Monotamon. The left player will follow up with a Cross 4, and I believe he does have all sources for it. Yep, he does. So that's only going to cost 1. Gonna draw for the Cross 4 effect as well as the Akari. And he's gonna swing in, using Tai and Kari to reduce the security's DP. And he's gonna swing into a DarkKnightmon X, which will still be enough to delete it. So he's going to be able to save 2. Looks like he accidentally puts 3 first, but then corrects that, so good there. And then he's going to play the Crimson Blaze to clear everything but the Death Examon. And the right player will have a Monotamon in breeding, and swing in with the Death Xmon, hitting into a Starmons. Then he's going to play the Immortal Ruler, milling 3, and then he's going to be able to play a DarkKnightmon from his trash, Digi-crossing with the Mighty Axe mode as well as a Skull Knightmon. So he's going to have the security attack +1, and that'll pass the turn. The Cross Arts player will go for another Cross 4, using the sources under their tamers. I think you get a small 4. So it's only going to cost 1 again. You're going to draw for the on play as well as the Akari again. I think he forgot to spend the Taiki, but that's not really going to matter. Swinging in, but he forgot that the DarkKnightmon does have blocker with Nene as well as +1000 from the tie, so it is going to be a tie and they're both going to get deleted. And then the DarkKnightmon effect will play out the Mighty Axe mode. And then the Cross Arts player will play a Sunrise Buster, playing out an Akari. And with 5 tamers, that will -15 to the Death Xmon, and then the Akari effect will play out Darulamon, which will give an additional -3k, and that'll kill off the Death X, which had 16k because of the tie got. And the right player will push down on Monotamon and swing into security. It will hit into a Sunrise Buster, killing off the Mighty Axe mode, but he does have the Grumblemon for game, and so that'll be 1-0 to Dark Knight. Going into game 2, the Cross Arts player will start with a Sparrowmon in breeding, and then they will play a Starmon. And the right player will hatch and put a Chikurimon into breeding, and then play Pride Memory Boost, passing 1 memory, and I believe they will get a Mighty Axe mode, yep, and revealing the top 3, and they will grab what looks like a Deadly Axemon. Passing turn, the left player will swing in, drawing for the Pikmons, and hitting, I think, a Deadly Axemon, so the Sparrowmon survives at 5k. And then swinging to Starmons, which will put out another Pride Memory Boost. And then the Cross Arts player will just pass turn with a Ballistamon. Right player will push out the Chikurimon, and then they will swing in with the Mighty Axe mode, hitting into a Death X, which will kill the Mighty Axe. And then they're going to pop both Pride Memory Boosts, putting them up to 7, and then play the Death X for only 10. But unfortunately, this is a misplay, as they do have the Chikurimon out, which also says that you cannot reduce play costs. So that should have been a full cost Death X, and he would not have been able to afford it. But as you'll see later on, this luckily doesn't end up impacting the end of the game. So then the left player will put a Sparrowmon into breeding, and then they'll play out an Akari, which will play out a Darulamon, killing off the Chikurimon. The Pokemon will get a Monsmon off the top. And then they contemplate playing the Zenjiro, but I think they take it back. Yeah. So then they're just going to hard slam out the Ballistamon, because it's going to end up dying, so I assume they're probably just looking to maybe play it out from sources later on with Zenjiro. So pass turn, both of them end up getting deleted because they're the same play cost. And the right player will swing in with the Death X, hitting into a Tai and Kari, and then Digivolving into Chikurimon and breeding. And then play another Chikurimon. And then they're just going to pass turn playing a Monotamon, revealing the top 4. And it looks like they're going to take Immortal Ruler and a Cavalier mode. And the left player will swing in with the Sparrowmon, hitting into the X antibody, so the right player will gain 1 memory and the next antibody goes to hand. And then they're going to just play Crimson Blaze, which is not affected by Chikurimon, because Chikurimon says say play cost, and options do not have play costs. It is just cost, so it does get reduced. And then he's just going to play an Ikari, which will play out a Darullamon from its sources, draw a couple of cards, and then it just dies to Death X. So they're going to save it under the Tai Ikari. The right player will push out Scurrymon and swing in, hitting into another Ikari, which will play out the Darullamon from sources, deleting the Chikurimon, and then Pagumon will trigger, getting a DarkKnightmon off the top. And then they're going to swing in with the Death Xmon, hitting into a Starmon, and then just Digicross out the DarkKnightmon, which will delete the Darullamon. Left player is going to look to play a Tamer, but you gotta take it back, and then Digivolve into Shoutmon for free, get that draw. And then they're going to go ahead and put out the Taiki. Looking at the top 4, I believe they grab Cross 4 to hand, and then I think that's either a Starmons or a Darullamon, probably Starmon. Then they're going to play out the Cross 4. And I believe they have all 4 sources for it. So we got the Starmon, Darullamon, Ballistamon, and then a Shoutmon in hand. So it'll just cost 1. They're going to use the 3 Ikaris they have to draw 3, and then draw 2 for the Cross 4 ability. And a swing in, reducing the security DP by 2000 with Tai Ikari, and a hit into a Deadly Axe mode. Then the Shoutmon Cross 4 on deletion. We'll put all the sources under Taiki, unsuspending him. And then go into the Cross 5, where he does have all 5 sources, so that'll be free. And he's going to swing into that last security and hit into a Nene. Which, I believe should have it on play. Yep, there we go. And he's going to grab the DarkKnightmon, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Then the left player is going to play another Sunrise Buster, dropping a Taiki, and then there are 6 Tamers out, so it'll be minus 18k to the Death X. And I think he accidentally, he makes a small mistake. He puts the Darullamon in hand, and X goes to put the Cross 4 underneath, and then when he realizes that, he just puts the Cross 4 in hand, so he accidentally grabbed both the hand. But that doesn't really impact the game, I believe, either. Then the right player is going to Digicross out another DarkKnightmon, which will de-Digivolve the Cross 5 and then delete the Shoutmon underneath. So only the Shoutmon gets saved. And then they're going to load up the X antibody option, swing into security, Digivolving up into DarkKnightmon X, which will unsuspend, and I believe it will delete the Tai Ikari. I think the left player thought it was game for a second, but it still had to pass turn, so would not be able to swing for game. So he's going to swing into a Kiriha, which gets played out, and then the Dark Knight X, when Digivolving, would also blow up the Tai Ikari. So the turn gets passed, and left player will push out the Shoutmon. And then they're going to swing in, drawing for the Pikmon, gets blocked by the Dark Knight, and they save it under the Taiki. And then he's going to go for the Shoutmon Cross 4. He's got all 4 sources. And then he's going to draw 3 with the Ikaris. And then I think he accidentally drew 1 on play, maybe thinking when Digivolving, but realized that, and so he just drew 1 more here. So he's going to swing in, gets blocked by the DarkKnightmon, which gets deleted, and then plays out the Mighty Axe mode. And the Skull Knight goes back to hand. Mighty Axe mode will grab a Cavalier mode, I think, from the top. And then the Cross 4 end of attack. Gonna delete the Cross 4, put everything under the Taiki, and then go into the another Cross 4. Swinging again, gets blocked by the Mighty Axe mode. End of attack again, everything goes underneath the Taiki. But it does look like he has the cross 5 in hand, so he's going to swing for game, and then it's going to make it 1-1. And that is going to bring us into Game 3 of the finals. The right player is going to hatch and Digivolve into Chikurimon. And then play out another Chikurimon. And the left player will hatch, put a Sparrowmon into breeding. And then play out a Tyankari. The right player will push out. And then they're just going to play a Pride Memory Boost, revealing the top 3. And they're just going to get another Chikurimon out. So a little bit of a Chikurimon rush here. The left player will push out the Sparrowmon. They're going to think about swinging, but they're going to decide not to. I don't believe it has the boost right now, since there's not another cross art. Oh, he is going to swing in. It's going to die anyways. Gets saved under the Tyankari. And then they're going to pass turn playing a Ballistamon, which also does not have blocker as there's not another cross art on the board. Right player will Digivolve into Monotamon in breeding and hit into a Crimson Blaze, which is very unfortunate. Blows up the entire board. And then the Pagomon, I believe, will hit a Deadly Axpon off the top, adding it to hand. And then the right player will pop the Memory Boost and play a Deadly Axmon, revealing the top 5. And then I believe they're going to take Dark Knight and Dark Knight X. Pass turn. Left player will hatch Pikmons and Digivolve into the Sparrowmon. And then I'm going to swing in with the Ballistamon, hitting into a Mortal Roller, so the Ballistamon lives, Mortal Roller goes to hand. And they're just going to play out a Zenjiro, but nothing to play with it. So right player will move out the Monotamon, swing in with the Deadly Axmon, hitting into a Shoutmon, and then swinging with the Monotamon, which hits into the Cross 5, dies, and the Pagomon will add another Monotamon to hand. Then the right player will play out a DarkKnightmon. I think it has the Skull Knight underneath. I can't tell for sure. And it's going to blow up the Ballistamon, which gets saved under the Zenjiro. Left player will push out Sparrowmon, swinging into the Deadly Axmon. And then they're just going to play a Taiki, revealing the top 4. And looks like they add Shoutmon to hand and then put, I think, a Drulomon underneath the Taiki. Unfortunately, this is where we have quite a big misplay or misruling. So the left player plays the Sunrise Buster, which will play an Akari that plays out Drulomon. The Sunrise Buster will be enough to delete the DarkKnightmon, but at the time we weren't sure whether or not the Skull Knightmon would be out before the Drulamon's effect resolves to -3k something. The way we kind of thought is that the Akari and the DarkKnightmon would both be triggering at the same time, because they both happen as the Sunrise Buster resolves. Thinking then that the Akari would resolve first, play out the Drulomon, its effect would resolve, and there's nothing there to -3, and then the DarkKnightmon's effect would play out the Skull Knightmon. So unfortunately we did miss that ruling, and it might have impacted the game quite a bit, but we ended up working out with both players, so hopefully not too big an issue. So the right player, they're going to get the Cavalier Swing with the Skull Knightmon underneath it, giving an additional security attack +1, and you can see that pretty much gave the right player 2 additional security checks. And then they're going to play out a Death Xmon for free, blowing up the entire board. So yeah, unfortunately that misruling does impact the game quite a bit. I've actually gone through the recording quite a few times to see how it might have actually ended up impacting the game, if it did at all. But unfortunately, this is just how it is with such a high-profile game on the very first week of a new set. So we did the best we could, and it's just a shame that we got the ruling wrong. Right player is going to pass turn with a Monotamon, and then the left player is going to go into the Cross 4. And I think they only have 3 of the sources. They're missing one of the yellow ones. I think it's the Starmons. Cross 4 is going to come out. They're going to draw 2 for the Cross 4 and then 2 for the Akari. And they're just going to swing into security. Actually, I believe they're going to pierce over the Cavalier mode. Yeah. And then checking security, they're going to swing into a Nene. again. So the Nene is going to reveal the top 4, and they're going to just grab another Nene, who is also a Twilight. Cross Force, End of Attack, put all the sources under Taiki. And then they're going to go up into the Cross 5. And it looks like they did draw into the last source they needed, so that's going to be free. They're going to swing into security, but unfortunately going to hit into a Chikurimon, which is going to de-digivolve the Cross 5 into the Shoutmon. So it's not going to get the additional security check. So I don't think the left player has anything else that they can do, unfortunately. Again, yeah, I don't know how much that misrolling impacted the end of this game, but it does still really suck that we missed the rolling. The left player is just going to end up passing turn, and right player's going to swing it for game. DarkKnightmon wins. Here's the list for the DarkKnightmon deck. And here's the list for the Crosshearts deck. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe for more Digimon content, and I hope you have a great day. Later.